Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Good morning to all of you.
Good
Good
morning, sir.
morning, sir.
Good morning.
Am I
Morning, sir.
audible? Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just wait. Okay, good morning. Am I audible now?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Probably I was
Yes,
disconnected
sir.
for a time being, so I log in from a different. Just wait. Let me change out the. Okay. Then let me present now. हाँ शशांक सर सर नमस्कार बुधवार को केतेबेले हाउ 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 ठीक अछि हाउ okay okay so I think we have already done these things. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Audible.
sir.
Yes, yes, okay. So you will just tell me, we
Yes, sir.
have probably worked out the assignment exercise. Have I given you the assignment exercises? Have I given you the assignment
Yes, sir.
exercises? Prabhivik
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Rai
sir.
You
is
have given three
telling
questions.
no. Okay. So let me summarize actually first, then you will tell me whether whatever we have left out or anything. So initially we started with one dimensional motion, that is X motion, and I defined average velocity, and from average velocity we went to instantaneous velocity. We also apply the skill or the technique of going from average velocity to instantaneous velocity in an example, that antelope cheetah example, and we saw that when the time interval is gradually made smaller and smaller and reduced to almost zero, the value of the average velocity becomes the instantaneous velocity at that instant. We also did the same thing with from average acceleration to instantaneous acceleration. Then for constant acceleration, I derived two formulae. One is velocity time and the other is position time. Velocity time is Vx is equal to V naught x plus axt, where Vx is velocity at any instant, ax is acceleration at any instant, and V naught x is velocity at t is equal to 0, or the initial velocity. Similarly, the position time equation assumes the form of x is equal to x naught plus V naught xt plus half axt square. Then we also analyzed all these motions graphically by taking the position time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph. When the acceleration is not constant, then the position equation and the velocity equations will be different. Velocity equation I derived for you, that is Vx is equal to V naught x plus integration 0 to t ax dt. Similarly, the position equation will become x is equal to x naught plus integration 0 to t Vx dt. And we also worked out a problem, that Sally's car problem, if you have remembered. Then I extended my x equations or x motion to y motion, the up down motion. What will happen when the particle will move in the upward directions or the downward directions in a gravitational field, that is the y motion. And there we just made two changes. One, we replace ax with ay, all x with y, and that ay becomes minus g. Why it will be minus g? Because the acceleration, whether a body is moving up or whether a body is coming down, the acceleration is always constant and negative, and that is minus g, and its value is 9.8 meter per second square. And also we did a couple of problems on this up and down motion. At least one problem is very educative, that is, a ball is thrown with a velocity of 15 meter per second upward from the top of a roof, from the roof tower, or from the top of a roof. And what happens after 5 meter, or how much height it will raise, what will be the time taken, all these things we have worked out. We discussed also to test your understanding, and I gave you to do probably to test your understanding. Examples we did, and also but the assignment exercises were discussed or not, I don't know. Just let me tell you, you will just tell me, these are the few assignment exercises. This is the assignment exercise, the first one. Have we worked out this assignment exercise?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, good. This one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This one?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Now, an electric train leaves a station starting from rest. I will also give you a couple of problems for your practice. Very interesting problem. So first we will do this one.
Sir,
This one completed.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Okay. Now this one?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. So few questions I will give you as assignment exercises so that you will do it yourself. So how do you take? Do you like to take a screenshot of this?
You have already
I have already given it to you. Have I given it to you?
Yes, sir.
This question?
Yes, sir.
Have I given
Previous.
this question to you? Okay. Well, I am not getting any reply from you whether I have given this question to you or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then let us write another few questions. One is, a man wishes to swim. A man wishes to swim across a river. Across a river 600-meter wide. 600-meter wide. Full stop. If he can swim, at the rate of 4 kilometer per hour in still water, and the river flows at 2 kilometer per hour, then in what direction must he swim to reach a point exactly opposite to the starting point, and when will he reach it? Okay. Then the next one is, the position of the front bumper of a test car under microprocessor control is given by xt is equal to 2.17 meter plus 4.80 meter per second square is meter per second square t square. Okay, t square minus 0.100 meter s to the power 6 meter s to the power 6 second to the power 6, and then here you have got 6 T6 find its position. This is bit A. Find its position and acceleration at the instance when the car has zero velocity. Draw x versus t graph. Draw x versus t graph. X versus t, then vxt, velocity time graph, vxt state vxt and axt, acceleration time graphs. Axt graphs for the motion of the bumper between t is equal to 0 and t is equal to 2 seconds. Okay, you can then an antelope moving with constant acceleration covers the distance between 2 points 70 meters apart in 7 seconds. Its speed as it passes the second point is 15 meters per second. What is its speed at the first point? B. What is its acceleration? What is its acceleration? Okay. Then the last one, a stone is thrown up vertically vertically with a velocity of 20 meters per second, full stop. Find out the instances at which the magnitude of its momentum and kinetic energy will be half its initial value. Take z is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Why this is not working? Okay, so have you taken the screenshots of these numericals? These these questions I have given you earlier. Now you can call this question number, we can name it as, let us name it also. This is 2.10. This is 2.18 of the book. This is 2.19 and this is 2.38. Okay, so and let us make it little bit bigger. Okay, bold. This is 2.19. Okay, bigger, 26, and this is 2.18. 26, and this one is 2.10. Okay, so what I will now, have you taken the screenshots, Sibun?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
can you show last question, please?
Yes, what happened?
Sir, last question.
Last question, just wait. Okay. A stone is thrown out vertically with a velocity of 20 meters per second. Find out the instances at which the magnitude of its momentum and kinetic energy will be half its initial value. 2.19. An antelope moving with constant acceleration covers the distance between 2 points 70 meters apart in 7 seconds. Its speed as it passes the second point is 15 meters per second. What is its speed at the first point? What is its acceleration? Similarly, the position of the front bumper of a test car under microprocessor control is given by xt. These equations you can also you can do it like this. This will be better. Put it, let us take it to this side. Okay, this will be much better. Okay, so this is the equations I have given. Just make it Okay. So, okay. Okay. Find its position. I'm going to call this one also here. Okay. You can place it here. Okay. I hope so. You have, so all of you have taken the screenshots. Mihika.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so I think you should do those questions, and if you find any difficulties, and try to those questions. I'm mentioning chapter 2, and in chapter 1 also, have I given you some assignment exercises for chapter 1? So what you will do in your, you make a separate assignment copy and you write these questions and also the solution. So when it will be required to submit, then you can submit. Okay. So make a assignment, separate assignment copy, mention chapter 1. Oh, am I not audible? Somebody is telling that I am not. Am I not audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
what I was telling you that make a separate copy for the assignment, because as I have mentioned you, your assignment mark is 10, isn't it? Out of the 40 sending marks, 5 is for attendance, 15 marks is for mid-semester examination, 10 marks is for the regular lab, and 10 mark is for assignment. So you make a separate copy, and the assignment exercises that I have given you, you have to do those assignment exercises. Now coming back to chapter 2, what are the assignment things I have given you? You see. So I have given you, we have started the assignment from here. Assignment exercises, we can make it. Okay, so the first one is this one, this 2.1. Okay. Let's make it a little bigger. Then 2.6, which we have already worked out. Okay. Then 2.7 we have worked out. Then 2.17. Okay, we can do this. Then 2.10. Just wait. Let me. 2.10. Then 2.18, 2.19 and 2.38. Okay, so I have given you all these questions, and each question represents a specific portion, and that you have to understand, and it is required that you did not memorize anything. Okay, all these equations can be derived. Do you understand? You need not memorize anything. There should not be, your mind should be like a clean slate. You should not memorize anything. What is important is that you must know that how a position time graph is drawn. Position time graph is drawn by taking time in second along the horizontal axis and position in meter along a vertical axis. Then you plot the graph. Fortunately for you, you will be discussing more of motion with constant acceleration. Of course, one or two problem you will discuss on motion with non-constant acceleration. Similarly, when you are plotting velocity time graph, time in second will be taken along the horizontal axis, velocity will be taken along the vertical axis in meter per second. In the acceleration time graph, the acceleration will be taken along the vertical axis in meter per second square. Time in second will be taken along the horizontal axis. Okay, and another two things which are important is that the slope of the position time graph will give you velocity, and the position time graph will give you acceleration, and isn't it? And the area under the velocity time graph will give you the distance traveled, and the slope of the velocity time graph will give you the acceleration. When the acceleration time graph is upward, the curvature, the concavity is upward, then the acceleration is increasing. Ax is increasing because it is not constant. If the acceleration time graph is a constant, then it will be parallel to the time axis. And if it curves upward or the concavity is upward, then the acceleration is increasing with time. If the concavity is downwards, the acceleration is decreasing with time. Okay, and if the acceleration time graph is a straight line, is an inclined straight line, of course. If it is a straight line parallel to the time axis, the slope is 0 and the acceleration is constant. But if it is not constant, but it varies linearly with time, then you will get a inclined straight line. Okay. So these are the few points you must understand. And another important thing is all the kinematics equations for constant motion can be derived by only one thing. What is that? If the acceleration is constant, then average acceleration is equal to instantaneous acceleration. That is important. All equations will follow from that thing. Similarly, you must know how the velocity is defined and how the acceleration is defined. The instantaneous velocity is the rate of change of displacement, and the instantaneous acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So only these things are required to understand, and all other things you just take a plain paper, start with whatever I have told you, then you will be in a position to derive all the equations. You can analyze all these assignment exercises. If you have got any doubt, so before going to, I think we should go to the next chapter to start with. So if you have got no further queries, then we can travel to the other chapter. Have you got any queries regarding these things? If you have got anything,
Yes, sir.
please ask me.
Sir, can you share the PDF of that assignment exercise?
PDF of the
Assignment exercise questions. The slide, sir.
PDF of what? PDF of the assignment exercises.
Yes, sir.
PDF of the assignment exercises. So, I
Sir,
have
so it
not-
will be easier for us. Whenever we will give, we'll look at through the questions and we will solve it. No need to share the PDF book. I mean, every day, sir. Once we'll get the bunch of questions, then it will be easier for us.
No, but that will be difficult because no, I did not follow you. My point is that have you taken these assignment exercises? Have you taken the screenshot of this one?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
because normally actually you will see that the assignment exercises will be very less. We are doing 3 times or 4 times more now for your practice. But when the actual lesson plan will evolve, hopefully only few questions. Normally the practice is 3 to 4 questions only. So, but we have got, you see, in this assignment exercises, I have given you 1, 2.11, 2.62, 2.73, 2.174, 2.105, 2.186, 2.197, 2.38, 8 questions are there. Because I need that you should have little amount of more practice. Okay, so
So
yes.
we'll make a different copy for it.
Hmm?
We'll make
Yes,
a different
yes.
copy.
You should have 2 copies. One copy for whatever I am telling you, whatever you are taking notes and all this thing, that is a running class note kind of thing. And then an assignment copy, because the assignment will fetch you 10 marks. So you must have an assignment copy chapter wise. Chapter 1, what are the assignment? Yes.
So what are the assignments of chapter 1?
Chapter 1, just wait. Just wait. Have I given it to you or not? I don't know. Let us see. There was a lesson plan probably. Let me see. Just wait. There are so many questions actually. Anyway, just wait. Okay. So let me write it. There are few questions. First, we will write one questions. 1.40. The head of a vector is at the coordinate coordinate 3, 4, 7, and its tail is at -2, 5, 1. Write the vector. Okay. 0.53. Given two vectors, A is equal to A is equal to -2 I cap plus 2 I cap plus plus 3 J cap plus 4K cap. And B is equal to -3 I cap plus 1 J cap minus 3 K cap. Do the following. Find the magnitude of each vector Find the magnitude of each vector. Write an expression for the vector difference. Write an expression for the vector difference A minus B. A minus B using unit vectors. Using unit vectors, find the magnitude of the vector difference vector difference A minus B. A minus B, is this the same? Is this the same as the magnitude of B minus A? B minus A. Explain. Then this is 1.53. This is, you see, exercises. One. Point 53. And then 1.44.
Sir, how many questions are there?
3 questions we have worked out, I think, as I have remembered.
Yes, sir.
Probably we have worked out.
Sir, by
Anyway.
writing, sir, it will take more time, sir. You do one thing, you click the photo and you send to that section brother and he will send us. Through mail. Sir, you take the photo and you send to section. That person is there, no, sir, section. You send to him, he will send us through email.
What should I do?
So you only click the photo and you send to Soya and they will send us through mail, sir. By writing, it will take more time, sir.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, that day also you said that you will give us PDF of lab manual.
No, lab, but it has not yet been decided whether that lab manual will be shared to you or not. That's why I have not given you. Even the lesson plan, it was decided that the lab manual, the PDF copy of the book and the lesson plan will be sent centrally, not by us, centrally to all of you. So I don't know whether it has been sent to all the sections or not. That's why I am not sending. Otherwise, I should have sent you the lab manual and the lesson plan. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me write one more questions because that is the last question. So.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And then, so we have done this as far as I have remembered. Anyway, let me is the vector let us bring this vector just is the vector I cap plus j cap plus k cap. I cap plus j cap plus k cap a unit vector. Unit vector. Justify your answer. Okay. Then bit B. Can a unit vector have any components? Unit vector have any components with magnitude greater than unity. Can it have any greater can it have any negative component? Sorry, can it have any negative components? And then in each case justify your answer. Bit C. If A is equal to 3I cap, this is A, and the bracket will be there, straight 3I cap. Let us bring this to here. Three I cap plus 4j cap plus 4.00 j cap. All these things. Okay, j cap where this A actually, this A, where A is a constant, determine the value of, determine the value of A that makes A unit vector, that makes A unit vector. A unit that makes. Okay, So these are the questions. I hope we have discussed all these assignment exercises. So these 3 questions we will do. So we have got 10 minutes. So I think I should introduce. So I hope we have done extensively chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we will go to chapter 3, which is a interesting chapter in the sense that the X motion and the Y motion will be combined, and we will read motion in 2D and 3D. Okay, so I hope I will introduce you to chapter 3, and then we will proceed gradually. Will it be okay? Because we have got still, so I hope all of you have done with chapter 1 and chapter 2. You have already written the assignment exercises of chapter 2 and also chapter 1, and I hope in a separate notebook you will note down the questions and the answers of these assignment exercises of these two chapters, and in your running class note you will have all the derivations and all the discussions that we are doing. Now going back to chapter 3, let me introduce you to chapter this is lecture 3, so we'll go to chapter 4 actually, sorry, chapter 3, which is lecture 4. Okay, so let me okay, so is it visible to you? Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have discussed in chapter 1 vectors and in chapter 2 1D motion. Here in this chapter we will discuss about 2D and 3D motions. So the basic objectives of this chapter is position in 2D and in 3D. Then velocity vector from trajectory means path, and acceleration with varying and constant speed. Okay, so the speed will remain constant and we will discuss the acceleration, and the speed will change and also we will discuss the acceleration. Okay, now the position and velocity vector. What is a position vector? In a 3-dimensional space, in order to specify the position of a particle correctly or unmistakably, then you need 3 numbers which are called coordinates, x, y and z. If you look at this figure, there is a Cartesian coordinate system represented by 3 mutually perpendicular axes, x, y and z, isn't it? And we are using a left-handed coordinate system. That means from x to y I must move in an anticlockwise direction, from y to z in the same anticlockwise direction, and from z to x in the same anticlockwise direction. Now from O to P, the P is the particle and the position vector is directed from the origin O to P and designated by a small r vector. Now it has 3 coordinates. The x coordinates by this bluish vector, the y coordinates, the y vector, the y component vector by this vector, yj vector, and the z coordinate is by this zk vector. If you look at this thing, this constitutes, isn't it, this is a parallel pipe, 3-dimensional rectangle kind of thing. You see, it has a length, breadth and height, isn't it? The height is given by the y coordinate, the breadth is given by the z coordinate, and the length is given by the x coordinate. So I can write my vector r, the position vector, as x I cap, y j cap plus z k cap. So the position vector of any point P in a 3D can be mentioned correctly by using 3 unit vectors I, j, k and 3 coordinates or 3 numbers x, y, z. So r is equal to vector r is equal to x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap. Okay. Now once I know my position vector, then I can also define an average velocity vector in a 3D space, because the particle's position will not remain same if the particle is in motion, and if initially the particle is at point P1 in time T1 and it is at another point P2 in time T2, which is T1 is my initial time, T2 is my final time, so the interval is T2 minus T1, and the position vector of P1 is R1 and the position vector of P2 is R2. So the displacement is R2 minus R1, final minus initial, or represented by delta R. So the average velocity is defined as the displacement, rate of change of displacement, isn't it? Or displacement by time interval. So R2 minus R1 divided by T2 minus T1. That is equal to delta R by delta T.
So please explain what
Okay.
is R1 and R2.
Okay, so let me explain. R1 is now you see this dotted bluish line is the path of the particle. Okay, somehow the particle is moving along this path. So at point P1, at time T1, the particle was at P1, this point. Then because the particle is moving along this direction like this, so at time T2 the particle will come to this point P2. Okay, so as we have seen here, the position vector is a vector drawn from the origin to that point. So the position vector for point P1 will be a vector drawn from O to P1, OP1, and OP1 is my R1. Similarly, OP2 will be my R2. So at time T is equal to T1, in the object was at P1, which has a position vector R1. Then the particle moves from P1 to P2, and at time T2, the object is at P2, whose position vector is R2 or OP2. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. So because average velocity is displacement by time, so I wrote V average as my symbol, put a vector over it, because now I am dealing with 3D, three-dimensional space. Final position minus initial position, so R2 minus R1, final time minus initial time, T2 minus T1. So R1 minus R1, R2 minus R1 is delta R, T2 minus T1 is delta T. So my average velocity vector is delta R by delta T. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is how the average velocity vector is defined. Now once you have defined the average velocity vector, then we can go to the instantaneous velocity vector's definition. Now you see, because the same coordinate system x, y, z, now the instantaneous velocity at any point P is a tangent at that point. The direction will give you the direction. Suppose at P1 I want to know in which direction the particle is moving, then I will draw a tangent. This tangent to this point, tangent to the curve at point P1 will give me the velocity at that point. Similarly, tangent at this point P2 will give me the instantaneous velocity at the point P2. So the instantaneous velocity at the point P1 is the velocity vector tangent to the path at that point. Okay. So because we have already discussed these things, there is nothing new physics that I am learning, except I am extending the whole thing into 3D by using notations. So you have already known that from the average velocity, the instantaneous velocity is a limit. Limit delta t tends to 0, average velocity is equal to instantaneous velocity. What is important is that you must know, suppose I want to know what is this limit delta t tends to 0, average velocity is my instantaneous velocity. That is very important. Okay, that's why instantaneous velocity, now I don't want to use any instantaneous velocity. So instantaneous velocity vector v is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 average velocity v average, or delta r by delta t, and that is designated by a differentiation symbol, that is dr by dt. So instantaneous velocity vector v is equal to rate of change of the position vector, or the derivative of the position vector with respect to time, dr by dt. At every point along the path, the instantaneous velocity vector is tangent to the path at that point, as shown in figure. Because this is a vector quantity, if I want to write the left hand side, then I can use my ijk, okay, and I can write it as ivx plus jvy plus kvz. Similarly, the right hand side can also be written by using the I cap, j cap and k cap. So we will discuss this, most probably the other teacher may be coming. So I think I should stop here. This was just an introduction to the new chapter, and we will discuss more on this chapter in the next class. Okay, so let me stop here. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.